All right, so you're a professional announcer?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a mixed martial arts announcer.
Read this in your best announcer voice.
Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast fanatics and content connoisseurs, brace yourselves for the voice, the vision, and the sheer brilliance that graces your ears today. Hailing from the heart of Acadiana by way of Covington, Louisiana, standing at an undisclosed but undoubtedly legendary height, with a mind sharper than a gator's bite and a voice smoother than a Sazerac whiskey. He is the Sultan of Sound, the maestro of the mic, the undisputed, undefeated, reigning, and defending greatest podcaster in all of Louisiana, Carter Semino.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is that it?
Yeah. Are we done? That'll be $850 million.
Hit the music. Glad to have you. I'm Carter Semino, host of Acadiana Cast Presents, but you already knew that from that great intro from today's special guest, Mr. Bryce Boudreaux. This is a really cool episode because, you make content, you put it out there, and you really hope that people like it and enjoy it. Well, Bryce has been reaching out, and we've been trying to collab and get him in for an episode for a few months now. And he just told us walking in that he listens and watches almost every episode. So we got an actual fan here who also we want to highlight as well. So it's kind of a bringing together of two worlds. Happy to have him today. Bryce, I know you've been all over the place. Just getting back from New Orleans last night. It's recording this. It's Super Bowl week.
Bro.
And first off, thanks for coming.
Bro, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And like you said, we've been trying to do this for so long, and my schedule just didn't add up, and finally got availability, and I'm winging it like a baby bird, like you said last night, Super Bowl.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Dude, so I guess this will come out after the Super Bowl. This happened, so everybody's hearing this. They already know what's going on, but I'll tell you, and
Okay.
you're hearing for the first time. But so I got casted to be a part of a piece that was going to pay tribute to those that lost their lives in the tragic events on New Year's Day, and that's literally I was told it was a commercial. And I was like, cool. And so it said it's a 1:30 a.m. call time. So hauled ass to New Orleans. Got a speeding ticket from a Crowley cop. Super nice guy. Didn't ask me where I was going. I couldn't wait to tell him I'm going to film something for the Super Bowl. He didn't, whatever. But so I got there, and they walk us to Bourbon Street, and there's all these people. And this is 1:30 in the morning, so Bourbon Street's shutting down. I mean, you gotta understand, Fox has pretty much bought out Bourbon Street. It's Foxland right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Super Bowl and they've cleaned it up and put a little cherry on top, and dressed it up. We'll see what happens there. But
Steak on a pig.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it looked very nice, dude. Honestly, the cleanest I've ever seen Bourbon Street was last night.
Wow.
So they have all these people, and they gotta keep in mind, there's hundreds of people just standing around, and we're right in front of Tropical Isle.
Mm-hmm.
So if those who, know about Bourbon Street, Tropical Isle. So we're waiting there, the big arch that says Fox NFL, Super Bowl, whatever, the big arch, and you've seen pictures of it. So all these tourists are walking around, and they're trying to get in. They're like, you guys can't get in. We only want people on the list. So they start sending us in, herding the cattle, right? And so we're all going in. I mean, it's a full-fledged set, right? And so they start sending us by groups, and they give us these shirts that say NOLA strong or whatever, and then they send us up on these balconies, and it's a full-fledged set, lights, rigs, big drones that are the size of cars, and there's a concert stage. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, I thought we were doing a commercial. Oh my God, nobody really knows what's going on. So we go in the back, and we're on the corner. To those who know, where the Cat's Meow is, in the crazy corner. So we go in the back of this. It's a Bourbon or Maison de Bourbon. We walk up, and as soon as I walk up the stairs, the police chief of New Orleans is right there. The old lady that said the rats are eating the weed and they're high and they're destroying the police department.
Yeah, that lady.
That lady. She's just standing there. I'm like, it's well past this woman's bedtime. Well, whatever. So we walk through this loft, and we're on the balcony. It's just like, dude, here we are. There's a concert stage, and there's two pianos, and it's a full-fledged drum set and everything. And we're all trying to, who's piano? Harry Connick Jr.? We're all taking bets. We're like, it's got to be Harry Connick Jr. No. Bigger than that. Paul McCartney. No. It's this guy. John Legend. Whatever. And then we start hearing a voice warming up.
Big Frida.
Close. No cigar. And I'm like, it's a woman's voice. And it's got a little, like a little gravel. And I'm like, man, that's like Christina Aguilera. No, that's Miley Cyrus. And then this girl, I can't really repeat what she said, but she's like, I know whenever my mother is around, that's Lady Gaga. Sure enough, looked over, big white flat brim hat. That's Lady Gaga playing that piano.
No shit.
And then I'm like, holy, that's Lady Gaga. We're at a Lady Gaga concert. All the first responders are lined up. And then I turn around. I just look in the loft that we passed by the chief of police.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, Michael Strahan.
Oh, the whole Fox crew.
Dude, literally the who's who. Roger Goodell, which I don't know how. Oh, bro. DeMario Davis. Terry Bradshaw. I mean, the who's who, the mayor, everybody, the governor. It was everybody was in there. And then they walked him down, and we did like 15 takes of Lady Gaga playing this song. And, dude, whenever it airs and people are going to know what I'm talking about, it will bring a tear to a glass eye.
Wow.
Bro, it's the song's called Hold My Hand. It's a Lady Gaga song. And,
Okay. But yeah, I mean, that whole tragedy affected a lot of people, especially the Lafayette area with the passing of Tiger Besh. Just a great young kid.
Yeah.
Really good dude, and it was kind of cool to see Jack Besh wear his number and ball out at the Senior Bowl.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, that's super exciting. And so how are you presented these opportunities? And it sounded like it was kind of last minute.
Dude, you're a production media type guy. So, I mean, last minute Super Bowl, they're trying to fill all these. Dude, like today, there's all kinds of opportunities. You want to portray a fan for like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles. You can go over there dressed like an Eagles fan, and like they're paying you to just like, fly Eagles fly and just be a fan.
Right. I know like the Super Bowl halftime show, sometimes they'll just like put a bunch of fans on the floor,
right,
and they'll just deck them out in Chiefs and Eagles gear in this case, but they're not really, a lot of them are just kind of just extras and just want them happy to be there.
Right. And that's all it is. And they're like this guy, matter of fact, guy standing next to me was from Lafayette, and he's like, I drove in, he's like, I'm sleeping in my car all week. He's like, I'm chasing bookings left and right in this city. And he's like, I'm going to be in the Super Bowl setting up the stage. They roll the stage out. But yeah, so you'll see me. I mean, if you haven't done it, Super Bowl's going to air by the time this airs. So go back, watch the opening video. You'll see me from a drone shot. I'm on top of the balcony. You can't miss me. All we did was just applaud. So it's like the lights are all off on Bourbon Street, and you see the first responders walking up, and then they turn the lights on, and boom, everybody applauds. And then Michael Strahan or whoever was like, that's how we do it in New Orleans, and welcome to Super Bowl 59 live on Fox. And so it's going to be the opening package for the Super Bowl broadcast.
Yeah, after all like the pregame stuff is over, kind of like into like the official broadcast of the Super Bowl or the big game. I don't know what the legalities of that even are.
the big game.
Yeah. But yeah, so you did that until wee hours of the morning, drove back to Lake Charles, got some sleep, and then drove back over here to Lafayette to do this interview. So man, how did you get into, so you do, you're like the in-game host at McNeese Basketball. Yeah. You also are involved in, pull up his Instagram real quick, Luke. What's the at say? I was just on it.
What's that? Gumbo Gators?
Gumbo Gators. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
it's part of like a Texas baseball league.
Yeah, the Texas Collegiate League.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, our rivals are the Acadiana Cane Cutters.
Oh, the Cane Cutters. Yeah.
They play in Youngsville.
Nice. Very cool.
God bless them. They are now our rivals. We're the shiny new toy in the league. We played our first season last year. I got presented the opportunity to be the on-field host. I've never really done much hosting, and this is just a way kind of to get in and branch out a little bit. And now it's like it's open to our possibilities of hosting.
Yeah, for sure. But you're also announcer with Bayou Fighting Championship. That's MMA and boxing. Yeah. As well as Elevate's submission series
in Houston, Texas. Yeah,
okay.
Elevate is it's pure jiu-jitsu, and it's submissions only. And we do pay-per-views in Houston and in Dallas. And
so what got you in? Like, did you go to McNeese?
No. I'm just a lifelong fan of McNeese. But no, what are we talking about? Like,
how'd you get into announcing?
Oh, okay, great question. Best question you've asked so far.
Thank you.
No, no, man. So lifelong wrestling fan. Like a lot of people, and I started a podcast with a buddy of mine. We met at a party. We started a wrestling podcast called Pro Wrestling Roundabout. You can look it up through doing wrestling podcasts, covering the WWE pay-per-views, and this is like 2017, 2018, 2016, and we were interviewing local wrestlers in Lake Charles at Full Throttle Wrestling.
Fun.
And I mean, it's all the local guys. And then we interviewed the announcer. The announcer's name was Rod Sterling. And Rod Sterling and I kind of started talking after that. And he's like, hey, man, I want you to come on the road with me. Like, you want to come on the road with me? I got these big shows in Texas I'm doing. And Rod Sterling, on top of being the announcer for pro wrestling, he was also running, like, the sound, the lights, basically, like, all the production.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really needed someone to help him set up. And so I'd go on the road with him. And, and then on the road, we would drink a case of beer, and he would kind of tell me, like, okay, these are the do's and don'ts. Just like making conversation, like, crowd only has so many pops. Don't give them everything. And it's just like little things. And fast forward a little bit, there was a show he couldn't do, and it was in Lake Charles. It was for Full Throttle Wrestling. And Teddy Null, the promoter, was like, Ronnie Paul, I need an announcer. He's like, Bryce hasn't done it, but Bryce knows what he's doing. I've smartened him up. He knows what's going on. That was it. 2018, I announced my first show as a wrestling show in front of a couple hundred people in Lake Charles at the charter school, and going strong. I did not think I'd still be doing this, and the doors that have opened in my career and the people I've met.
Yeah, scroll up his page just so folks who are watching can kind of see just a little bit of his Instagram, just some of the stuff that's on there.
Look at that face.
Hey, look, that second one that's pinned. So
yeah, man, that was at the Cage Dome Convention Center.
Yeah,
that was for Bayou Fighting Championship. Mainly a New Orleans promotion, but they were running Lafayette, Youngsville, Hyman Center, Cage Dome Convention Center, Youngsville Sports Complex.
So in this realm, you're more like a Bruce Buffer.
Bingo.
Okay.
Exactly. And I tell people I'm an MMA announcer. Oh, so you're like Joe Rogan? You got a podcast? I'm like, no. Like,
no,
okay.
He's a commentator.
Right. Yeah. And people dude, it's crazy.
Or analyst.
Like, you go. And some people get it. Like,
so with wrestling, were you also doing something like that, or were you doing more like the color
I was doing a little bit of commentary too, but I was the announcer for wrestling, and
okay.
I announced. COVID was really a blessing in disguise for my career.
Okay, why?
So I thought my career was over whenever COVID hit. I had plans on the table, and they all got ruined. Well, Louisiana had a strict commission, and they said no more events, no more wrestling during COVID. Well, Mississippi was like, we're doing shows. Texas, we're doing shows. We don't have a commission. So all these guys were going to Mississippi and Texas doing shows. So I'm like, I go to all these states and do all these shows. Like, forget Louisiana right now. Like, let's go. And, dude, just handshake and marketing and put myself out there. And I was getting booked all over the place. And fast forward a little bit, I was working for a company in Texas, Lions Pride Sports in College Station, Texas, ran by Houston Carson, and he really kind of molded my career. He's the Texas Lion. That was his whole wrestling name. And he was a perfectionist, and he molded me to being a perfectionist as far as my career. And then from there, networking and whatever, and I got a job. At the time, they were running television out of Dallas, Texas. It's called SWE Fury. Look it up. I was the announcer on there. We were television broadcasting, bringing back old school Dallas wrestling, the Von Erichs and all that. That was kind of the new age of it. Sadly, the promotion folded and whatever. But
on to the next thing.
Yeah, and then through that, we're talking about Hurricane Laura. Hurricane Laura hit Lake Charles. It was devastating.
Yeah.
And
I covered that when I was working for the news.
Bro, dude, I had Good Morning America on my street.
Wow.
And I stayed for it. It was insane, bro. It was insane.
You wrote it out in a house?
Yeah. Brick house.
Brick house.
She's a brick. Yeah, dude.
Ow.
Scary. Oh, yeah. So from there.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, oh, my God. So from there, I just networking. I saw an opportunity online with a company that's very well known in the wrestling industry, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And they ran like syndicated wrestling throughout the country. So like the CW here in Lafayette was carrying Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Tune in at 2 a.m. and watch an hour-long block of wrestling. It was filmed in Hollywood, but it's Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. They were like, we need host. I can be a host. I don't know what the hell I was doing in there. And I got a chance to meet with David Marquez over the phone. David Marquez, king of studio wrestling. And he was like, look, he's a California guy. And he's like, we'll give you an opportunity. We want to put syndicated wrestling in your market. Where do you live? Lake Charles, Louisiana. Where the hell is Lake Charles, Louisiana? It's the heel of the boot, brother. And so we created Championship Wrestling Gulf Coast. And you could look up episodes of it on YouTube. And literally, it was syndicated canned footage of wrestling they filmed in Hollywood, but it was just me doing stand-ups in front of a green screen. Welcome to Championship Wrestling Gulf Coast. I'm your host, Bryce Boudreaux. Here are tonight's matches. And it was just like that. We filmed it at the CBS Lake Charles television studio. My good buddy Devin Fusilier was my camera guy and producer. And yeah, man, it was a lot of fun from there. I severed ties with the SWE Fury thing. A bunch of old school guys got a little upset at me for working with this guy in California they didn't really like. Long story short, that's wrestling. I got an opportunity with Championship Wrestling. They said, we're opening up a new market in Atlanta, Georgia. We're filming from Center Stage, Atlanta. Bryce, you're going to be our announcer. Wow.
Nice.
And this was a job that a lot of people were applying for, and I just got it like that. And yeah, so I got to say, live from Center Stage, Atlanta, Georgia, this is your main event of the evening. And yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Goosebumps, man.
Yeah, man. It was dope, man. I got to do some really cool stuff out there, and that was probably the peak of my wrestling career, you know? And from there, it's wherever I met a guy named Dynamite David Hardy, which I've been knowing Dynamite David Hardy. Look him up. Probably one of the most exciting MCs, announcers in the world. And he was announcing for all these promotions in Louisiana. And he said, Bryce, I need some help. We're going to be running a show, Gulf Coast MMA, Lake Charles, Burton Coliseum. Need a commentator. Cool, I'm in. And that was my foot in the door in the world of MMA. Ain't looked back since. Changed my life completely. I owe it all to Dynamite David Hardy. Salut. Great guy. Love him to death. And not Salut like he's dead. Like, Salut. Like, love him. He's a gentleman and a scholar. And without him, bro, I would not be here, dude. I mean, like that, my career just like an airplane. Taking off at the airport here.
Shout out Dynamite Dave.
Dynamite Dave Hardy.
Man, that's really cool. So, like, what's one moment, and maybe you've already mentioned it, but what's one moment in your career so far that you kind of looked around and you thought to yourself, like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
There's a couple. One that comes to mind was the first time I announced inside the Burton Coliseum. The Burton Coliseum, you know where that is?
No.
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Oh, the Chuck.
Yeah. Burton Coliseum, an old rodeo coliseum that McNeese State University uses as their basketball arena for a good long time. Fun fact about the Burton Coliseum, I attended plenty of basketball games. Watching McNeese growing up as a kid, watching Diego Kaplan, my boy in Canada. Shout out Diego Kaplan. Watching him play basketball. And fun fact about the Burton Coliseum, without the Burton Coliseum, I would not be here. My parents met at the Burton Coliseum at the Marshland Festival.
Beautiful.
So my birthright, the Burton Coliseum, and I got to announce on live on pay-per-view for Gulf Coast MMA. And I was like, dude, I can't believe this is happening, you know? Walked down the stage, had pyro and everything, and then I get in the cage, and like I rolled my ankle as soon as I got in the cage. Quick save, and I was okay. And yeah, man, it was dope. That, and I'd say one other thing that was really cool. Got to announce in St. Louis, Missouri. Got to fill in for my buddy Mike Kendall up in St. Louis at very, very awesome Nemesis Fighting Alliance. But I think the cherry on top, being able to hang out with the Cajun Cannon himself.
Bobby Hebert.
Bobby Hebert. I spent hours hanging out with Bobby Hebert, working for a company I was hosting, and a live, it was like an autograph convention. You could buy trading cards and get them signed. And Tabitha Starkley, who runs Capital City Collectibles, and Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, Ronnie Rance, they had, you know, all these great LSU players that were booked, and Justin, why am I drawing a blank? I can't
Jefferson?
No.
Vincent?
I can't even remember now. Hester. Jacob Hester. Jacob Hester.
Yeah,
what am I thinking? Jacob Hester. Mondo Duplantis' brother. I can't even think of his name right now. But yeah, and then Bobby Hebert. And Bobby Hebert I got to spend all afternoon with
Antoine
Duplantis. I can't remember nothing. But yeah, Bobby Hebert, hanging out with him, signing autographs, and he was just as cool as can be, man. Hours just chopping it up with the cannon.
Yeah, dude.
And he was awesome, bro. He was so cool.
He's one of the reasons why I got into kind of what I do. Is I grew up in the New Orleans area listening to WWL, sports talk, and just hearing him after games, probably being a little sauced, but just saying whatever he wanted, and without reservation. I was like, man, I want to be like in a spot one day where I can just get in front of a microphone and just yap.
Dude, I love going to Saints games, coming back and having, listen to WWL, RIP. Don't know what's going to happen there with WWL.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and Bobby's just like people call in Bobby, like even like whenever we beat the whoever at the beginning of the Cowboys at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah.
And Bobby, they're like, Bobby, the Saints say they look terrible. Like, you got to be smoking crack, However, Bobby, I can't really do a good Bobby. But awesome, dude. The Cannon is the real deal, the top. One of the coolest people I've ever got to meet.
That's awesome, man. So look, you bring up McNeese basketball, and I've got a bone to pick. So obviously, you got Will Wade over there after getting disgraced and fired from LSU, and Will Wade caused a big ruckus because just shit talking UL and the Cajuns and whatnot, and there's a lot of UL just fired their head coach Bob Marlin, longtime coach.
Yep.
But there's a lot of animosity within the fan base between LSU and UL. A lot of it is because we want to play them in sports. Obviously, I think football, like out of all the sports, is going to be the hardest one to try and get even with. But we could be competitive. But like baseball, like we're LSU, UL, they're
softball,
great program. Softball as well.
Ooh.
And but basketball is one of those things that like we should be playing them every single year. And it was and like Will Wade made this big fuss about wanting to come, like not want to come to the Cajun Dome, or I think we made fun of the PMAC or whatever Bob Marlin did. But then he goes to McNeese, kind of restarts his career, brings in energy and juice, which is happy for my friends over at McNeese. But then y'all's social team just he just starts rubbing people, and like that Will Wade energy starts getting creeped into the social media team, and then they beat UL when they're downtrodden, having kind of a rebuilding year, and then they throw out the whole like making fun of the ULL versus UL thing, right?
Whoa.
Just throwing shade, and it just got like Twitter in a flurry, or X, the everything app, and I am just dragged in these conversations all the time. Both my parents went to LSU. I regularly, I grew up an LSU fan, but went to UL and adopted the Cajuns. And if the Cajuns are ever playing LSU, I'll root for the Cajuns. But I'm one of the weird freaks who is happy when both succeed. But what I get dragged into is the whole ULL versus Louisiana debate, UL versus ULL, and LSU fans just refusal to just call the Raging Cajuns Louisiana, right, which is their athletic branding, but also just the I don't want to say little brother syndrome, but there seems to be just like people from here are seeking out people who are putting out that conversation, the slights against Louisiana all the time, when it's like, bro, let's just do our thing and let's have some happy banter back and forth. But there's just re-dragging this conversation over and over again. Yeah. And then McNeese, who doesn't have a freaking dog in the fight, gets into it. It just set me for a loop. Now, despite everything I just said, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people. I'm definitely not one of those people that says go to hell USL. I've never said that in my life. I'm sorry, bro.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
It's in my look. Okay, Lafayette versus Lake Charles, dude. I mean, before we were born, that was the big rivalry. McNeese and USL,
right?
And or ULL, Louisiana. I don't know which. I don't know, honestly. I don't know what to call them. And
Louisiana. So you hate it. You hate it.
UL Lafayette.
Yeah,
look,
sure,
I just call them USL, man. That's just old school thing.
I kind of wish it was still USL.
Go Bulldogs, But yeah, man. Just growing up, I remember going. I was at, Dad and I went to the game where McNeese beat UL at Raging Cajun, but now it's Our Lady of the Lords.
Yeah, Lords,
which is gonna be beautiful.
Yeah,
God, I love how the fact that in NCAA 25 it's completed.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope, actually. But yeah, I remember going there and we shocked the world. And I mean, look, I'm a diehard McNeese fan. It is what it is. My bad. I'm sorry, but it's just an old school rivalry. It's the Hatfields and the McCoys. It's red versus blue. Back in the day, it still is. I mean, whenever we came to the Cajun Dome and the game happened and McNeese won.
No, I love the rivalry aspect of it. I mean, you guys took Karen Crow Joe from us.
Yeah. Karen Crow Joe. Yeah,
his name was Karen Crow Joe.
Joe Charles Jr. Yeah, man. Love Joe. Yeah, man. Look, it's an old school classic heated rivalry that I don't think gets talked about enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, follow up to that, is Lake Charles considered Acadiana? No. Okay. Straight from the tap.
No, okay. I consider Acadiana like Lafayette. Mm-hmm. This whole area. This is Acadiana.
Yeah. Traditionally, like how it got started was the DMA of the TV broadcast stations that are out of Lafayette. It's like the 9 parish region.
Demilitarized zone?
What is the designated market area? I believe is what the acronym is. But just wherever the TV stations cover, it's like a 9 parish region. And then there's parts of people who will say like, okay, so it ends in Jefferson Davis, but then people say like Calcasieu should be included in that, and some say some of like the Houma Thibodaux area parishes should be like St. Charles Parish should be kind of in that as well. Basically, anything where there's a heavy Cajun influence.
I mean, I think everything in Lake Charles is starting to move either south or moving more east.
In what way?
I mean, that's just a lot of people in the industries. A lot of people are moving to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's east. I mean, we could go back to that Acadiana thing. Dr. Barry Osselay, legend. He explained it great with the triangle. You know, how I forgot where it said it started, but you can also look at it. A lot of people that, you know, you go to Lake Charles, everybody's last name ends with an EAUX,
right?
You know, or Tirio, you know, or any kind of Cajun last name and Cajun restaurants and everything. But my gripe with Lake Charles, we need more Cajun restaurants.
Okay.
There's too many damn Cajun people in that town to not have enough, bro. And it's sad that we got to come out here to come eat good Cajun food, and we got to settle with like, not going to mention a restaurant, but you know, we just got to settle with what we got.
Tex-Mex.
There's not enough of that.
Not enough of that
in Lake Charles. Yeah,
that's always like, you know, being from Covington. All my New Orleans friends say I'm from Mississippi. You know, we're in the St. Tammany Parish on the border of Mississippi. I imagine you guys get Texas. Like you guys are from Texas.
Texiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean Lake Charles is the #1 weekend destination for Houstonians.
That makes sense.
Weekend getaway. They go to Austin or they go to Lake Charles.
Okay, so answer me this. So as of recording this, you know, you're obviously a sports fan.
Yeah.
This past week, the NBA world was lit on fire when Luka Doncic was traded abruptly to the Los Angeles Lakers. And, you know, he's a player that should be a cornerstone of your franchise. And there's conspiracy theories out there that are saying, you know, these new owners who you know, kind of bought a lot of the shares from Mark Cuban and some other ownership group, they are trying to flex the Texas legislature's arm by making people the Mavericks games not as appealing to go to, which would incentivize the NBA to want to move them to Vegas, because Vegas, they want a team, and because if they don't, how they would keep them there is if Texas legalizes gambling, casinos. They want to build casinos all throughout Texas. Now, with that being said, and who knows how much of truth there is into that? You know, it's sports Twitter I'm getting all this information from. But let's say that Texas decides to build casinos, right? What does that do to Lake Charles?
Well, all of the hotels, all of that. I mean, dude, people even in Lake Charles have no idea the amount of people that come from Texas. Go to those casinos, Gold Nugget, LaBerge, Horseshoe, Texas plates everywhere. And it's unreal. Dude, the money they bring in. I mean, Lake Charles just opened a dispensary, too. And so all these people are coming over the border for medical marijuana, too. Betting on sports. Mattress Mac comes to the rest station in Vinton just to bet on sports, you know?
Shout out Mattress Mac.
Yeah, legend. Hollered at him at an Astros game one time. I was like, Mattress Mac, Houston Wrestling. He was like, hey. People that don't know, Houston Wrestling saved his business.
Oh, wow.
He he lost his business. It was a great flood that hit Houston back in the 80s. He was a big sponsor on Houston Wrestling. Paul Bosch, legendary wrestling in Houston. And he basically was like, I've lost my business. I'm flooded out. All my mattresses are in water. Can't do it. And they raised enough money to save his business. He is arguably the top furniture salesman in the world. Mattress Mac.
But yeah, so not just Lake Charles, but Shreveport, Bossier, you know, with the casinos that they have over there.
Too.
I just feel if Texas opens up casinos and legalizes it, you know, it's a giant hit to the West Louisiana economy.
Oh, bro, definitely. Oh my God, I don't think we're prepared for it. Man, I don't think it'll happen. I really don't. If it does happen, like, so you can go to poker clubs in Texas, and then they have. Gotta be careful how I say this, but there's like private clubs you can go to with their slot machines, and it's kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese where you put like a card in it and you play with fake money, and then they give you a prize, and they call them Macanitas and little machines. But yeah, there's gambling in Texas. It's there definitely, but you know, sports betting, I think they could do something and like have sports betting legalized, but as far as full-fledged casinos, I don't think that's happening.
Maybe just like the mobile betting.
Yeah, I think that'd make more sense.
Mhm.
Dude, it's awesome, bro. Mobile betting is awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for the Super Bowl props. I'm gonna have a good time
Yeah,
betting on the color of the Gatorade. We used to bet on the national anthem back when there was, when you knew a guy, and like the over under how long it took the national anthem. I remember we bet the over on Chris Stapleton, and he hit it by like a second, and we're all just like,
greatest national anthem ever.
Yes.
Greatest national anthem.
It is the greatest national anthem ever.
Well, I mean, guaranteed money right here, Lady Gaga. Guaranteed for the Super Bowl.
Okay, if there's a Lady Gaga prop, I'm gonna hit
Guaranteed money.
You know, fun fact on that Chris Stapleton thing, the last time he sang that national anthem was in the Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl.
it. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
you know, maybe there's an opportunity there.
Maybe there is an opportunity.
Who's doing the flyover? The crop duster that's in
I mean,
Jennings?
is there a flyover at the dome?
Yeah, they'll definitely do a flyover at the Dome.
Okay.
Bro, New Orleans is crazy right now. It's wild.
Yeah, I've been following a lot of the Barstool Sports content,
Oof.
and just like there's just planes and helicopters flying all over the place. I know, especially after the tragedy, the security's been boosted up, which is already going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine.
Bruh, let me just tell you,
Yeah.
as someone who was there last night, we turn on a street to walk all the way to Bourbon. Literally every square inch of the French Quarter is units, whether it's the FBI or it's the Louisiana National
Or
Guard
state troopers.
or it's state troopers or city cops or whatever. If you sneeze the wrong way, you got 18 barrels pointed at your head. I wish somebody would pull something stupid.
Oh,
Crazy. You know what's weird though? Like last time we were filming that whole thing for Lady Gaga and the piece that's going to open up the Super Bowl, like we're up there on the balcony and we just start hearing commotion. This dude that was dressed up as a Squid Games character, you know, the green jumpsuit, he's just like yelling. He's like, I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this. And the state troopers are like, nope. And like, they're not even trying to, like, people are just walking on set and like, they're not even trying to push him out. Like, I'm like, dude, it's this easy to get on set.
yeah, right.
Drunk people just like walking all the way up to the stage and the state troopers are like, hey, you don't belong here.
It would seem like such like an impromptu kind of put together last minute thing to do this. This piece, which I imagine a lot of those pre-festivity Super Bowl type stuff are impromptu like that.
Madness.
We'll be right back to the episode in just a bit, but first I want to hear from our friends over at NetScore. We're here with the founder of NetScore, Tim Benson, friend of the show. Tim,
yes, sir.
I'm a small business owner with Acadiana Cast. How can NetScore help me and others like me?
Well, what we see from people that are in similar situations, make sure your website's optimized, make sure that Google recognizes what you do and can easily rank you in Google searches. And also just make sure you're active on social media. I know that's easy to say, but it's so easy to overlook as well too. Make sure you're posting, and you may even want to try some paid advertising, get some more eyeballs your way. So we can easily help out with that.
Okay, how do you guys help out with that?
So we'd find out what service are you primarily doing right now. We could help assist on the social media side. Our team can actually post for you. Just give us an idea of what you like, what your personality is of your business, and we can get content out for you in a done-for-you format. And then on the website side, listen, if you are not happy with where your website is, or if you don't even have a website, think of your website as your home base on the internet. And that home base has to look really good, and it's got to be visible. So we can help create your website, we can revamp your website, and we can do it pretty fast too. We've got team members of different backgrounds that can fit the personality of your business.
Well, there's all kind of different types of businesses. It's like a snowflake. Each one's kind of unique, right? And I use, in part of my business, this new AI and certain things, whether it's writing copy or in my editing software. But you guys have like an AI element as well that people can use with NetScore.
Right. So what's really cool is I developed an AI marketing assessment. So you can plug in all of your information about your business, and it will give you a diagnostic of what things you're doing great and what things you might need to work on. And then we can get that report and know exactly where to start in your business.
Well, okay, I'm sold. Where should I go to find out more information?
So you can go to netscorepro.com or send us an email, info@netscorepro.com. Our team will be more than happy to help anybody out, help you guys out too.
Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, NetScore. Let's get right back to the conversation now. But getting back to kind of your career and the announcing and whatnot, what's something about being an announcer or host that most people don't realize?
A lot of people say that, a lot of people tell me, man, I could do your job. I could do your job. And by all means, go do it. Like, and they, bro, you don't know what it's like to be in front of a crowd of, several thousand people.
Yeah.
And you got to be on point you got to be on point because these people are looking at you from your toe to the top of your head. They're studying you. They're listening to every word you're saying. You got to be on it, and you got to be a perfectionist. And, a little slip up, whatever, if that happens, just keep rolling. And job is not as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of practice to be that way. I'm fortunate enough to where I'm not bragging. I'm just being completely honest. I just got it. Like, most people are like, gotta look in a mirror, I never looked in a mirror and went over my lines. I've worked with the absolute top upper echelon of announcing, and they're like super nervous and they're like going over the lines, and I'm just like, somebody give this guy like a Xanax or something. Like, I go out there and I just nail it,
Natural.
I just do it, and I'm not making that. I mean,
Yeah, no,
it's just who I am.
You've got it. You got it.
Yeah, and that's why I've gotten this far.
No, I feel the same way about podcasting. I'm just the greatest of all time.
Yes, you are.
I just,
The greatest of all time.
do you have a story of like what's the craziest thing that you've seen or experienced during a live event?
Man, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Okay, great story here. I got a bunch of them. Quickly mention, I got to announce on our border in Laredo, Texas. My good buddy Dan Martinez got me booked in. Whenever I was announcing wrestling, we were literally right across from the border, wrestling ring in a parking lot, hot desert heat, and I announced on the border, and I was like, check.
Awesome.
Border. But this is a better story than that. Bayou Fighting Championship.
Okay.
Ponce Train Center. You know where the Ponce Train Center is, right?
That's in New Orleans.
Yeah, across the lake,
Mhm.
Covington. So Ponce Train Center.
Oh,
Bayou,
yeah, wait, yeah.
Ponce Train Center, Bayou Fighting Championship. Everything. Some stuff, I don't have an IFB in my ear, so nobody in the back is telling me, hey, be ready for this. I'm literally like, I'm winging all this. Whatever I say, it's going to happen, right? So, there was a fight that was coming up, and it was going to be a title fight, and I was like, I introduced the blue corner fighter first. Blue corner is always like the visiting team. Red corner is normally like your home team. That makes sense. So, introducing first, let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, and I said the guy's name. And music plays, the lights are doing the ballyhoo, the lights are doing their thing. Sold out crowd. Couple thousand people. We're waiting. And once again, please welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, insert fighter name here. Fighter doesn't show up. Okay, and so I'm told, hey, skip that fight. We're going to go to another fight. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move forward into tonight's card. And I'm like talking to the referee, and me and the ref, like, if you want to know what happens, it's just like, we're just bantering. And I'm like, I guess I did, sometimes people chicken out. They're like, you train all this time, then whenever it's come time to, you got to be in a cage, and we're going to lock that door, and it's legal murder. All of a sudden you're like, maybe I don't want to do this. And so we're like, maybe they got chickened out, whatever. So a little while later, I'm told by one of the producers, hey, that fighter, he's good to go. We're going to do this fight right now. Announce the fighter, comes out, and he lost. Fight's over. Then I find out from the promoter, Joe Ancona, shout out, one of the most dangerous men in the state of Louisiana, old school ESPN 80s kickboxer, just badass. We have lunch the next day, and he's like, you didn't hear about what happened. I said, no. He said, okay. Guy goes out there that was supposed to fight that I'm telling you about. Before he walks out, there's two sheriff's officers that walk up, and they say, hey, we got a warrant for his arrest. He's coming with us. And it was like, okay, hold on. Like, he's got to fight. This is a title fight, and his opponent, everybody in this building paid to see his opponent win this title. So we're crowning a champion. Like, and Joe is like, look, just hold on a second. And we do a lot with the first responders in New Orleans with Battle of the Badges. Made a quick phone call and said, look, just give us just like 5 minutes, please. This guy has to fight. And so it was one thing led to another. And it was like, okay, we'll let him fight. As soon as he's done, we're cuffing him. And dude, as soon as he got knocked out, he went through that curtain. Boom, you have the right to remain silent. Everything will be used against you. Whatever.
Go get your ass.
They loaded him up in a paddy wagon. They brought him to jail.
Yeah. That's like back in the day, you hear stories of Wayne Toops going to a festival and getting taken out of a cop car, getting put on jail, plays a set, gets back in the cop car, goes back to jail.
Wayne. Yeah. Wayne's actually my cousin.
No way.
Yeah, I don't don't talk to Wayne, but Wayne's actual last name, get this, well, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Wayne's real last name is Boudreaux. It's his birth name. He didn't really, I guess, I don't think he had a great relationship with his father, so he took his mother's last name, and Wayne Toops. But his legal birth name is Wayne Boudreaux. I got some interesting family members. You know a lot about Cajun music?
A decent amount.
Okay.
More than, I guess, probably the average person from Covington.
Nathan Abshire?
Yeah. Cousin?
Great uncle.
Great uncle.
Yeah, it's my dad's uncle. My dad said growing up, he'd come to the house on a Sunday, smoking a cigarette, whatever, and playing that accordion. And
that's awesome.
Pine Grove Blues, and then Cleveland Crochet, who wrote Sugar Bee, that was on my dad's mother's side of the family.
Did you get any of those musical genes?
So before I was an announcer, I was in a band, and I thought I could play guitar. We were like a hardcore punk band, and we were playing like old school hardcore punk, like Fugazi and Misfits and Ramones and whatever, and NoFX, and they were like, "We love you." And then it was like a week later, they found someone different. They're like, "Hey man, we're gonna move forward without you." And I was like, my life is over. I'm a failure. What am I going to do next? And then that's when I went to a party and I met a guy, Casey Jones, and we started a podcast, and that was history.
Wow. And you were early on in the podcast game too.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare, kind of similar to music, if I've got a show, I'm making sure I'm getting the voice warmed up, nice and ready to go.
Yeah.
Even before this, sometimes I'm making sure I'm just doing little things here and there to make sure the voice is nice and tight. What do you do, if anything at all, to get ready for an event?
So I take this hand and I grab. This is a PG show.
No.
Okay, I grab my your
Boudreaux.
I grab the Boudreaux and I squeeze it as hard as possible, and till I start red eye, and I'm like, we're ready to go.
To each his own.
No, I'm lying. A lot of people one of those things. The upper echelon of announcing. A lot of these big announcers, they all ha lee 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 la lee la 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 la. They got to do all these vocal warm ups and do all this stupid. I'm not stupid. Hold on. They just do a lot of other things, and I've never had that issue. I'm TV ready, and this is what I do. I drink either hot tea or a cup of coffee.
There you go.
Hot liquid just kind of singes your vocal cords and just gets them ready to go, and you can roll all night. And look, man, you're listening to me. I don't have an amazing voice. I love whenever I tell people I'm an announcer, like, I hear the voice. I'm like, I ain't got no damn voice. I know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear guys that work for the city, and they got
oh yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, please put on your 3D glasses.
Sound like Barry White. You're like, this guy needs to be on every single voice recording.
Incredible. And I'm like, why the hell are you a garbage man? Let's put you in the cage announcing, And here I am. I'm like, damn, I wish I had a voice of gold like that. But yeah, I ain't got no voice. I just know what to do with it, and I got them good vocal cords.
You also there's a level of presentation and energy, and bringing a presence on in the ring or at a game or something like that. That a lot of that, some of it can be kind of learned and fine tuned. And I'm sure, in fact, that you've kind of fine tuned your presentation
100%
over the time. But a lot of it is just like you either have it or you don't.
100%. Yeah, man. Whenever I started, doing wrestling, I would notice, I was taught, watching growing up the announcers on WWE and Tony Chemmel and David Penzer and Justin Roberts, Stoneface. They were straight, no funny business. They were straight to the point. Old school boxing announcers, straight to the point. That's what I wanted to be. No nonsense, no funny business. And I would notice on the come up, and I'm like, man, I'm doing all this stuff right, like the guys in WWE are doing, being straight as an arrow, straight as I could possibly be. And all these people that are not doing that, with the gimmicks and the funny business, they're getting all these opportunities. And I'm like, the hell am I doing wrong? And I guess I was just, I'm young. I'm 26. I'll be 27 here in a couple days, February 13th.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. 1 year closer to death.
That's one way to look
at it. We can edit that out. No. I'm not that guy. But yeah, no, man. I just had I thought I had a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, I'm doing everything right, and I'm not getting the opportunities that I feel like I deserve. And you got these people that are going out there goofing off. But you know what? I realized that everybody has their own thing, and everybody gets their own bookings the way they do their own thing. And I've come to realize is that everybody has their own thing, and you can't knock anybody. And I've learned from a guy Dynamite David Hardy we were talking about. Dynamite David Hardy was the complete opposite of me. Dynamite wears the sparkly jackets. He's got a nickname. His damn name is bedazzled on the back of his jacket. It says Dynamite with a microphone. And he tells you, as he's announcing, folks, I am Dynamite. and I'm the maniacal maestro of the microphone or whatever, kind of like your thing. And he does these dance moves. This dude will cut a split in the middle of announcing. I mean, he's crazy rambunctious, and I'm just like, I could never see myself doing that. And then there was just doing MMA, like wrestling, stone face, straight arrow, everything. MMA, I started kind of get a little loose. You know, the entrance music would play for fighters, and the lights would be going. I kind of cut up a little bit, and I developed a style to where, and if you've seen my videos of me announcing, it's kind of like an about face type thing. Where like, I'm announcing, I'm looking at the hard camera, and then I do kind of like a spin move, and I focus on, fighter in the blue corner, announce a fighter in the blue corner, boom, boom, and I'm looking at that fighter straight in the eye, and I'm announcing this fighter, and then boom, flip to red corner, boom, flip to that guy. And I've had fighters tell me, and I don't try to do all this, I've had fighters tell me, like, dude, I thought I could win a fight. I thought I could be in a cage. And he said, as soon as I got in there, I got so nervous. But whenever you announced me, you reminded me who I am. And
that's awesome.
Dude won the fight. And
that's interesting because you think that you're there for the entertainment, for the crowd, but you're also playing a big role in these fighters and getting them gassed up and ready to be at their best.
Yeah, man, dude. And then sometimes like
you're the last thing they hear before touch gloves. Essentially,
legal murder. Mm-hmm. That's what it is, bro. I mean. There's no, other ways to get around that. But yeah, dude, I mean, speaking of touching gloves, like whenever I announce some of these guys, a lot of these guys I've become friends with. I'm me. I'm I don't put on a show like a politician. I'm me. I'm the kind of guy that's going to kick back and drink a couple of brewskis whenever I'm through announcing. I'm a pretty chill guy. And
typical
a lot of these
Cajun.
guys, that's it, exactly. And hospitality type of character. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put on a show to be like, hi, I'm nice to you just to get a job. These guys, I'll announce them, dude. They'll dap me up and shit. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm announcing them, and, like, they'll put out that glove, and boom, dap them up, Sometimes you see Buffer doing that. It's kind of cool. It's just, hey, like, me and this fighter, we have something right here, That's my boy, God bless him. He signed his name on the line to do this, not me.
Is Bruce the GOAT, or is his brother? Is it Michael?
Yeah.
Michael Buffer?
MMA, Bruce is the GOAT. Boxing, Michael's the GOAT. Mm-hmm. And I'm in fear of what could happen whenever, they're in their 70s,
Right.
What's going to happen? I have a strange feeling that the UFC or these big companies, they're going to AI generate their voice. I hope not.
Pay a fat fee to, like, Buffer's LLC or foundation or something so that he's getting kickbacks to his family until, after he's long gone. Yeah. that very well could be the future. I hope not. Hope more people like you are getting opportunities, and it's like next man up kind of mentality. But kind of shifting and talking about, like, professional wrestling, I think you'd have to have basically special needs to not know that it's scripted.
Right.
In the event when you're announcing something like that and something, because it's live, things can go off the rails and off script.
Right.
How do you handle that?
Well, in wrestling, you just got to know, like, anything could happen, and everything kind of happens for a reason.
So do the announcers or the commentators get this kind of the script and what's going to happen, or is it better for them to be kind of not in the know so they can be more like a traditional commentator?
A lot of people want to know the results before it all happens. I was always the type of guy, I did not want to know the finish in wrestling. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan or not.
Not really.
Okay, cool. Jamie or
Jamie,
are you a wrestling fan? Wrestling fans and of course,
like the Attitude Era,
of course.
Absolutely, the Attitude Era.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Tell me who your favorite solo or duo is in the Attitude Era, and why is it DX?
Oh yeah, I love DX. See, I was more of DX 2000s DX. It's just my age, But yeah, with wrestling, and a lot of wrestling people that are watching this know. There's a finish. That's the ending of a match. What's going to happen? And I was always, look, I don't want to know the results. I want to see that referee slap that canvas. 1, 2, 3, and whoever the winner is. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner. And new, world heavyweight champion.
It kind of gives it that veil of authenticity.
Exactly. Now, I've had crazy stuff that's happened where it was completely unscripted, and you just go with the flow.
Like what?
Well, You got to be a worker, and a worker's just, you got to just know what the hell's going on, but just expect the unexpected and just go with it. And, I've seen some situations where guys, like, I don't know, like announcers in wrestling will, like, if there's a bad guy, a heel, and they'll like buck up to the heel. You're an announcer. You're a weak son of a bitch. You're just a boy in a suit. Stay on your level and realize, like humble yourself. There's a wrestler. You ain't got to be bucking up to a wrestler. I've had a situation, SWE Fury, Greenville, Texas, where the Von Erichs used to wrestle.
Nice.
Charlie Haas, a guy that wrestled in the WWE, incredible collegiate wrestler. I think he wrestled at Seton Hall. Charlie Haas was going with this gimmick that he was just a crazy maniac, lost from the insane asylum. So he'd come out and literally, dude, and this is televised wrestling, syndicated. He'd just start destroying everything. Just start grabbing chairs, throwing them, pushing fans around, popcorn flying everywhere. And the first time I worked with Charlie, he just comes up to me and, dude, this guy, I got to be careful how I say this, but big boot. Boom. Like I was sitting there at like the timekeeper's table next to the timekeeper, and I just look and he's wrestling a guy ringside and he's headed straight towards me, and I just see this big boot headed straight for my face. Boom. Oh, and I fall on the ground and I'm like, my face.
Oh man, you got in the action.
Agonizing pain. And whenever you're with a professional, it's not really agonizing pain. He's just such a professional. Baby tap. Anyways, those who know. I don't mean to expose anything that you don't already know, but then Lance Archer wrestles for AEW currently. Another situation. Lance and I go way back. Lance, I was like sitting ringside for an event with SWE Fury in Dallas, Texas, and he just comes over and he's just selling the fact that he's hurt, and he just like collides into me, and like I just fall on the ground, and dude, insane stuff.
So you're in both of these worlds, but as being in the content creation business, I feel remiss as we're kind of getting close to wrapping up to not bring this up with you. As far as I think it's AEW, how do you make of Logan Paul, his performance in professional wrestling?
Oh, Logan's in the WWE.
He's in WWE. Okay,
dude. I remember like watching the Paul brothers years ago.
Yeah,
like whenever they were just making videos, man, and seeing them now, they're two of the greatest performers on planet Earth,
and probably some of the greatest promoters on Earth.
Bingo.
And you're seeing that when it was part of the next part with the boxing thing. Like now the brothers are fighting each other, and even though we keep getting fooled by this and we keep paying for these pay-per-views to watch, Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson or something, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna watch it all on Netflix or whatever it is it's gonna be on, and that'll be that. Then we'll be fooled again. But I don't know. Maybe something tells me with the Paul brothers, it'll be more of like a true fight. I don't know. What's your take on all these boxing matches that are being orchestrated?
I don't want to affect my employment with anybody, and so I'll just keep it simple as it can possibly be. There's a great way to make money as a promoter in boxing, and you're seeing it happen. Those who know. And I mean, whenever I said it before, Paul fought Mike Tyson. We were doing the show in New Orleans. It was a Battle of the Badges event, and right after the show, they said, everybody, we're going to stream the fight on the Jumbotron. And so whoever wanted to stake a watch, and I was telling everybody, I said, I will put all the money in my pocket. Two ways. Logan Paul wins by knockout, or Logan Paul, it goes to decision. Jake Paul, I forget which Paul brother. Jake Paul? I don't even know. Paul. Or it goes to decision, and Paul wins to make him look strong. And people are like, no, Tyson's going to beat his ass. And I'm like, it's boxing. You got to sell the next fight. It's a business. I mean, we can make you a world champion and say nobody can beat this guy.
I mean, it's true, but go on.
We can book you against young Jamie over here. And
Lil Luke.
we can promote it and make you look unstoppable. And
Luke's jacked. I wouldn't mess with him.
And he's a good sized guy. Yeah. And then you guys have a fight, and money rolls right in. Floyd Money Mayweather, the greatest promoter of all time. The dude's a genius. You know how many times he's lost? Well, I don't really know his record, but I mean, my recent knowledge, he's never lost because it's his show, and he books the fights. The greatest fight ever promoted, hands down.
Was it him and Pacquiao?
No.
Okay.
Mayweather McGregor.
Oh,
the single greatest promoted fight of all time. Old heads can argue with me about, what about this guy? Dude, I mean, as far as the new world and social media and everything, how they went on a global tour, and like Dana White was this moderator, and like they're asking like Dana, like, what do you think about McGregor? He's like, well, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't snap. You know, he's talking so much shit, and he's like,
Dana's leaning into
he
it.
can't even read. Look at him with the little schoolgirl, a little backpack, and they're talking all this shit, and it's just like, you know, they get face to face. It's gonna happen. They're gonna fight. No, they gotta save it. They gotta save it. And they did this world tour, and people are like, they hate each other. They hate each other. They go and they have the bout, and dude, you see one spot of it where like Mayweather accidentally hit him too hard, and he's like, ooh, and he picked him back up. Need you to stay for this whole fight, and I mean, Mayweather won. And then afterwards, what are they doing? They're hugging, they're kissing, they're drinking their whiskey. And McGregor's like,
And just rolling in money.
yeah, Mayweather, I want to thank you for all the money you made me. Like, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Greatest promoter of all time, Floyd Money Mayweather.
Well, so
Hire me.
yeah, hire him, please. Yeah,
Or not. I don't care.
I think you justified a hiring. So you
I
know,
can make a mean gumbo.
with the
Mayweather.
You make-
Mayweather don't know
make
nothing about that.
you make your own roux.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, you wouldn't seem too confident on that one.
Dude, Ja Rule is this. Look, I'm going
It's
to piss
fine.
everybody off.
It's
Ja
fine.
Rule is the same.
It's fine.
It's the same damn thing, bro. Everybody's like, you got to, dude, just don't put tomatoes in it. Don't put cauliflower in it. And shrimp and seafood does not go with sausage and chicken.
Very true.
Keep the meat separate, bro.
What about potato salad? Does that go in the gumbo?
Hell no. Then you're eating a mayo, egg, and potato mustard soup. And I'm like, no, this is how I do my. It's got to be on a little saucer, and I need a little spoon to like make that little tink noise whenever it hits the saucer. And I love that little sound. And I don't like my potato salad ice cold, like it gives you a brain freeze. I like a little room temperature. And, you know, gumbo, palate cleanser, potato salad. That's the way to do it. And DJ Rhett set right here, and I wholeheartedly agree. Puck Fastalaya. and it's not because of him. And God, dude's a genius, right? But I cannot stand whenever somebody's like, hey, man, come over. We're doing the LSU game. We're cooking a big jambalaya. I love jambalaya.
Yeah,
Love it. Grew up swimming. After I get through swimming, my grandmother was cooking me a bowl of jambalaya. And I love good jambalaya. And then you get there, and then they're like, what the hell is this mac and cheese bullshit? And I'm like, dude, what the hell is this? Like, this isn't. Oh, it's pastalaya. It's the same thing. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. Dude, stop calling it pastalaya. It's not called pastalaya. It's chicken and sausage pasta with cheese in it. Do you put cheese in jambalaya? Do you put Velveeta cheese and heavy whipping cream in jambalaya? No, it's its own thing, and stop calling it pastalaya. It's not, dude, and I can't stand it. Dude, like during the Hurricane Laura in Lake Charles, these people from Illinois were cooking good Cajun food, and like they're cooking pastalaya. Like straight up, if you serve me pastalaya in like a styrofoam container and it's closed and you tell me jambalaya and I open it as pastalaya, I will put the food down, I will get up and I will leave.
Yeah, that's what Red said.
I don't want to do business with you.
People coming over to cook for after a hurricane in his neck of the woods, and he was like, "Do we
800 pounds of pastalaya. Yeah,
have to
dude.
be that?" But dude, man, it's been a great pleasure getting to know you and chat with you today. Wrapping up here, you know, because the way I see it, the more opportunities in the fighting world that there are in South Louisiana, more opportunities for you. And it seems that we're more and more, especially, you know, with someone like a Dustin Poirier kind of leading the charge. And we have a rich boxing history in Louisiana that a lot of people don't know about. But we have more and more fighters who are making it to high level
Carly
competition.
Judice, a guest on this show.
Yeah. Man, he is a super fan. I love it.
Yeah.
But we had this rising community of MMA here. And, you know, you've done events at the Cajun Dome in MMA. To those who've never been to an event here, you know, what would be your message to them to kind of like support that, to come out and see what it's all about?
Straight up, March 29th, Youngsville Sports Complex, Ragin' FC's inaugural event. Crazy Tim Crater is putting this on with the guys at Head Kicks MMA and some secret investors, from what I've been told. And it's going to be a cool time. Going to see some great fights, just like, you know, Lafayette has a great, rich MMA history. Did you ever watch the movie Fightland or Fightville?
No.
It's about
Fightingville?
What?
Like there was an area on the north side that was nicknamed Fightingville, which is where
Fightville.
Poirier was
Yeah.
kind of.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, well, it was a movie on Netflix, like 2011, 2012.
Okay.
It was about Dustin, early days, fighting at USA MMA, training under Tim Crater, his early days in his career, and it was all filmed in Lafayette. I mean, they're showing, Gil Guillory, the promoter, promoting this event at the Cajun Dome, and Dustin fighting and Dustin working his way up to the top. But this is a fight town. Lake Charles is a fight town. Lafayette, fight town, bro. These people love good fights, and the whole community is all influenced by these people that have gone to the UFC. All of these guys around from this area, guys and girls, in this area that have gone to the higher level and in this career, and it's starting at their kids, bro. I've announced kids MMA matches here at the Hyman Center for Bayou Fighting Championship. Dude, it is. The crowd is sold out all the time around here. They're all wearing the shirts of their favorite fighters or their sibling or their son or their grandson. It is a family affair, dude. It is insane around here. These people love it, and I love these people, man. And all the McNeese and UL, Louisiana, all that can, whatever. I love this town. I love Acadiana. I love Lafayette. My last name is Boudreaux, for God's sakes. I love these people. I love coming to Lafayette. I love announcing fights here. And I'll be here March 29th, Youngsville Sports Complex. We're doing Ragin' FC's inaugural event. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be crazy.
How can people follow you?
Well, I'll be walking outside. If you want to just put on Facebook, he's walking around. There he is. And so they could follow me in my car. I'm headed back home. So you want to come to Lake Charles and follow me there.
How about on social media?
Okay, okay. Bryce Boudreaux, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, MySpace, IBMDB, whatever it's called. All of that. Just look up Bryce Boudreaux with an X. And if you see a handsome devil in a suit, that's me.
Yeah.
I could be ugly. I don't know. Whatever you people think.
Coming to a broadcast near you soon. Well, Bryce, since you are aware and a fan of the show, you know how this ends. Take a look at your single camera right here. It could be a word, a phrase. It could be advice. It could be literally anything that you want to end the episode with to impart to the internet world at large.
This is a public forum. This is going out to the masses?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The two most important days of your life is the day you're born and the day you find out why. And the day you find out why, whenever you find that why, you'll have a much happier life. Go Tigers.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the show. Since you made it this far, might as well give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever you got to do to alert you that there's a new episode out. Look, it helps us grow, and it allows us to give you the content that, well, you deserve. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a guest, if you just want to berate me, hey, all goes to the same place. info@acadianacast.com. Email info@acadianacast.com. And for more locally sourced podcasts, go to acadianacast.com. Bye.